I think what's the best thing is if you're working on something for a long time, it can take 6 to 12 months for it to start working in the dojo, and then it could take 2 years before it goes onto the competition mat. And when that does happen, when you catch it and you get it, I think that's probably the best feeling, because then it's ingrained. Then you just have to keep replicating it. You don't have to keep working it. And so once you learn a skill, but it's repetition, isn't it? You've got to do millions and millions. And for someone going to the highest level, I'm really boring, because I find it easy just to repeat. Right. And I think for me, most people, that's the hardest thing, because they don't see the instant gratification from trying something. What I love to have, I like to have something like a curry, and I like jelly sweets like midget gems and stuff. So they're probably the two things that I would love to binge on if I was going to have it. So post-Olympics.
I have to say Tai Toshi, that's a standing throw. It was my first technique that I probably was ever taught by my coach Gareth Matt, and that's one of my favourite throws today. I think the internet is a great way to look up your nearest sports centre or your nearest club, whatever you're interested in, whether that is judo, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo. There's loads of martial arts up there, kung fu. My family's big on martial arts. My mum did judo, my dad did kung fu, so I have got a martial arts background, and I did a bit of everything really growing up, did gymnastics. I think there's so much there for females at the moment that it's so easy to get into sport.
My coach always said to me, train hard, fight easy, so put all your efforts, hard work in the training, and then by the time you come to, the competition, should be an easy process, because I've already done the hard work. So obviously there's newer faces on the block. So out of the 32 guys who've faced this, I've beaten 7 of those. So the ratio narrows down quite nicely. So you've got to be in it to win it, and I'm in it. So my day I can beat anyone. So it's just with that attitude, I'm just going to go in there and do the best I can, give 120%, and hope to prevail and be one of the first to bring back a gold medal for GB.
At the moment, because it is all about the Olympic Games, it's very much focused on being at peak physical, mental condition, getting up in the morning, doing something, either a jog and some stretching, maybe a bit of yoga. It's a weight controlled sport as well, so it's all about keeping the balance. Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon, amazing. Things, just because you can see this, they're performing for a camera, but the things that have gone on, I know myself, the things that have gone on in the back, Jackie Chan, the things that have gone on, his training, his initial training from when he was such a young kid to going through to that, just to make any sort of top, it's a movie, they make it look all spectacular and stuff, but still underneath that all.
But I remember one incident when the women's British team turned up for just a visit. I think they must have been visiting clubs at that time, obviously way before I even thought about doing it competitively. And I just remember being in awe, these ladies in the British team, going to the Olympics, and I thought, I wouldn't mind doing that. And then I just carried on, and I'm still here today. Not really expectations. I just like for myself to perform to my ability, because I don't feel like I've done myself justice in Athens and Beijing. I think for me, my personal goal is to sort of perform to my ability, and I think the rest will happen.
That's a massive honour, it's a fantastic achievement whenever you get to represent your country in anything. When you get to represent them at a senior level, it's even better. When you get to represent them at a global event, even better again. And then if you can represent your country in the Olympic Games, it's the pinnacle of most Olympic sports. Myself and my brother watched a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies when we were younger. Yeah, we watched a huge amount of those movies. Probably a bit too young to watch them when we started watching them. But yeah, those were films that we loved. One of the biggest things and the best piece of advice I've ever been given is, if you're going to do something, do it to the best of your ability. It's the simplest piece of advice ever. But regardless if that's a job, if it's sport, if it's some sort of academic endeavour, whatever it is, if you can if you can stand at the end of the day and hold your head high and say, I did the best I could, it doesn't matter whether you're on the top of the rostrum, whether you went out first round, whether you didn't quite achieve what you wanted to, or you exceeded your expectations. If you can say you did everything you could, then you can be proud of what you've achieved.